Good day, mate. I'm Gugabe, and this is podcast for Gugabe. I have Technical Tim on as my special guest on his YouTube channel. How are we, Technical Tim?
What's up, man? It's been a while since we've done one of these.
Yeah, a few attempts at recording, but hard to get the time zones aligned. But well.
Yeah,
Alright.
for sure.
So what was last week? Rosenstrike versus Overeem. Sometimes you get memed upon, like Overeem did. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I was pretty confident in Overeem. I probably underrated Rosenstrike's ability to survive on the ground and overrated Rosenstrike's striking. Like I probably said pre-fight, I'd take over him at -150 in a pure kickboxing match, which I think is pretty accurate.
Yeah, I think it ended up being I thought the kickboxing would be kind of like competitive, kind of how it was. And then on the mat, I wasn't really sure. And I think I thought Overeem would probably dominate a little more, and then Rosenstrike was just able to kind of survive. So I think pretty much what you just said.
Yeah, I like that Rosenstrike was actually willing to kind of just give up position and survive. Like I feel other people would have tried to get up, and if he tried to get up, he would have opened up the opportunities which would have led to him stopping him.
Especially in a
Pretty hard.
5-rounder. I think that's a smart strategy in
Yeah,
heavyweight, because in
yeah,
a 3-rounder, you could maybe give up rounds and then it can fuck you.
pretty much. Like a lot of the time in the grappling stuff, if you're just willing to keep your hands and legs inside the vehicle and not panic, you can survive against some guys who are way better than you.
For sure.
I think we've both got enough grappling background to agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, so on to UFC 245, Usman versus Covington. A good card. I still don't think that, like, for an end of year pay per view, I'm surprised that, like, the Covington versus Usman is the headline. I'd be surprised if it sells more than, like, 250,000, 300,000 pay per views, you get what I mean?
Yeah, unless if like some type of moment goes viral this week during fight week, I tend to agree. It's just it's really big in the MMA community, the hardcore community, and kind of maybe some of the fringe fans. It's just other people, I don't know. I'm sure you're the same way. Like I don't really have that many friends who watch MMA, but whenever a big fight happens, they'll be texting me and no one's really communicating with me about this one yet.
Yeah, agreed. Like, yeah, like, people are talking about it, but nobody's, like, massively hyped. It's not, there's not crossover appeal. Like, when Conor McGregor got booked, I immediately get asked what my opinion is. For this sort of thing, nobody really cares that much from outside the community.
I get asked about Conor McGregor still. Like it's like I don't know, I was
Yeah,
my sister and her boyfriend just a couple days ago. He knows I watch a lot of MMA. He doesn't really
yep.
know anything, and he's like, "When does Conor McGregor fight again?" Just trying to start conversation. I feel like just everyone somehow knows what's going on with him.
Yeah, but that makes sense because he's literally bigger than the sport in terms of, like, popularity. Maybe he's post-peak
Oh
now,
yeah,
but, like, at his peak, he was just more popular than the UFC.
yeah. No, I mean, no, it obviously makes sense. I mean, yeah, he's very, very popular.
Alright, so starting with Oscar Piechota versus Punahele Soriano. Um, um, Piechota is pretty decent, but there's no gas tank. And
Yeah.
Soriano is a TNC nobody who swings hard and can wrestle a little bit.
Yeah. Piachota's the favorite now. Interesting.
Yeah, I saw that. I was about to say it's flipped twice now.
Yeah, that's probably where this line should be, just flipping. Like, who the fuck knows? Like, um, yeah,
I
Piachota
personally
got some skills. It's just he's not very his gas tank, and he kind of just falls apart. Um, then Soriano, like he looks a little raw. He can swing. Pretty much what you said. I don't really know who's gonna win this fight.
yeah, like, I'd lean Piechota, but again, I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'll see what Piechota sub is. Maybe Piechota sub will be a worthwhile price because
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
Pichota's grappling is pretty legit.
yeah.
But
When he's like optimal, I probably lean Soriano just because I like gas tanks, but
yeah,
very, very just kind of like Not strong opinions, just kind of throwing that out there. I'm not going to have action on this fight.
Yeah, it's fine. Same here. Yeah. Inside to D because I'm actually 1 point down, minus 200 is not worth it for an RTD.
Yeah.
Jessica Ivers with Vieira Araujo. I feel like I should be a bit closer than that price, but the I's game kind of lacks coherence and like direction towards a win condition, I guess. I feel
Yeah.
like if I could trust I to just force takedowns and force clinches at every available opportunity,
Yeah.
I can get behind her. But because I don't, it's just like, well, I mean, there's definitely a sloppy, stupid path to a I win, but do I trust I to actually make? Do I trust I to make correct decisions?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the line, like, I don't know if I was setting this, I probably would favor Araujo a little bit just because she's a little more athletic with a little more pop. But I mean, I still outlanded Caitlin Chookagian in a pure kickboxing match, so she can kind of play that tag game a little bit. Araujo's like racked up some volume because she kind of has gone against two punching bags. But yeah, like I don't even think I kickboxing like I don't think she's completely outmatched even in the stand up. Like I feel like she can
Yeah,
compete there. I just don't favor her there. But I'm just saying, like in a world, I could see her winning even a decision there, especially because
yeah,
Araujo does seem to slow down a little bit, but she still was kind of functional while gassed against Davis. But I is a pretty good grappler. She just doesn't do it enough.
yeah,
And Araujo looks kind of like she can get stuck off her back, because Davis really kind of dominated her in a round. I think it was round two when she was on top, and Araujo couldn't get back up. So if I just falls into top
yeah,
position, you could take a round two. So I feel like this is a pretty competitive fight. Um, could see Araujo's racking up an early lead though.
yeah. It's kind of my lean too. Like I feel like if I could trust Di to actually make grappling happen, I'd be on her. And like I feel like she's probably the correct price at the current line. Also because Araujo, you're just fading. Like I just coming off a brutal championship loss, and Araujo just has a random hype train. So I mean, just based on how the market usually plays stuff, I'm pretty sure I'd probably be the correct side, but it's just not. I just don't trust her to do the right thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I'm not gonna play it. If I like gun to my head and I was forced to play a line, I would probably play I just for the dog money. But I could see this
Yeah,
being a close fight that Araujo edges, and it would be frustrating being on the I side.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Even like fight goes to decisions at minus 250. Maybe people think I can be like. I don't think I's chinny.
She's
But
not chinny at all. She's been knocked out one time ever, and it was just like it was a head kick. It wasn't like it was a punch. It was just like
yeah,
it was just a sniper head kick. Like I's kind of the definition of durable.
yeah,
Um, honestly, I would say there's probably value in that line.
yeah. Same here.
I
Just
don't
looking at
think
it,
yeah.
like I hasn't finished anybody since. Wasn't Leslie Smith the ear explodey one? So like I don't think she's a legit finished anybody since Doyle Frausto in 2012. And like
Yeah.
I guess Aljo's gotten hype for her finishing the first fight in the UFC, but I don't know. Again,
And
yeah, it's like
even that one wasn't like if do you remember that fight? It looked like it was going to the cards, and it was just kinda like a random 3rd round knockout.
yeah,
Uh, yeah. No, 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 I would honestly say there's value in that line because, I don't know, the average goes to the
yeah,
distance, like, over minus 300 for women's MMA, and
yeah,
usually it's submissions that kind of scare me off on that, and I don't think either girl's gonna sub each other here.
yeah.
I guess, like,
I think
I don't know. It's still women's MMA, but they seem kinda competent there to where they'll survive,
yeah,
so I don't know.
yeah, because I minus 250. Even like Araujo, not Araujo inside distance at minus 400. Yeah, minus 400 on the women's MMA KO. Really?
I actually was eyeing that line. Like I know it's like a juice line and everything, but I just don't think Araujo gets a finish 20% of the time. You know,
Yeah,
um,
agreed.
uh, like I know a lot of people don't like playing big favorites, but I don't care as long as like the implied probability is different. You know, and
Yeah,
if they if they fight 10 times, you really think Araujo gets 2 finishes? I don't know. I don't
yeah,
think she does, but yeah, especially because she's not a sub girl, you know?
yeah,
It's only 3 rounds, but
yeah. Like but Araujo didn't look good off her back against Davis, so maybe I get stabbed somehow. But yeah, like I just GTD's probably actually worth the minus 250.
I'd honestly be probably a little more concerned with I getting some type of finish on the mat. Even I don't think she
Yeah,
will. Maybe Araujo getting a standing KO. It's probably like a similar
yep,
probability of a finish happening, but it's like an equal threat, but I don't think
yeah,
either of them are that crazy either, you know?
yeah, great. So yeah, we're playing minus 250 GTDs at this point in our lives.
I mean, I haven't decided on that one, but I'll probably
We're
look into
both gone turbo tailed.
um, Kai Kara France and Brandon Moreno. I have I tipped this
Burning
out
hatred of Brandon Moreno. Yep, fair enough.
I tipped this out November 19th or something, like, so, like, a while ago. Um, a little bit at Kai's earlier line, but I played Kai here, just a small unit. I don't wanna go crazy on it because I do think Moreno could he's kind of opportunistic in some ways, but he's just got the volume edge, you know, and he scrambles out well. Like, I like his kind of city kickboxing type of practical defensive wrestling, and
Yeah,
and he lands a lot of leg kicks. Moreno has gotten eaten up with leg kicks versus Pantoja and Pettis as well. And I just think Kai should probably win a decision here.
pretty much. Yeah, Moreno. I'm kind of amazed he's managed to get as far as he have with his game plan at flyweight. He's just kind of moments over minutes.
Yep.
Like he's lost pretty much majority of his UFC minutes off the top of my head. And like
Yeah.
I played Sergio hard against him. I played um, Pantoja against him. I played Askarov against him, and even Askarov before Askarov corpse gassed in the last round. Moreno was lucky to have to win like a minute of the first 2 rounds. And
Yeah.
that was just like suddenly Askarov is getting dropped by every punch, and I'm like, I don't think Moreno hits that hard, just based on the rest of the evidence we have.
Yeah. I actually played all three of those too, and I haven't
Yeah,
even like really talked to you before, you know, like before
yeah,
that Askarov fight. That's funny, but yeah, no, I totally agree, and I also think Askarov kind of set himself up on a tee to get hit a little bit because he was so focused on grappling, you know, where Kai Francis
yeah,
is gonna walk into punches, and, Moreno, I don't think's ever landed 60 significant strikes in a fight. So, he like, he's either gotta get knockdowns or grapple here, and I don't think it's, like, impossible for him to get a knockdown or grapple. It's just I fade moments, you know, more than minutes. That's just my philosophy. And yeah, like Kai France has pretty much landed well over 60 significant strikes in pretty much every fight, you know. So I think Kai France will probably land like 70 significant strikes, and Moreno will be at like 40 if this stays standing, and I expect it to mostly stay standing. So that's kind of
yeah.
my read on it. Yeah.
My thing with Moreno's grappling though is yes, it's not the best positionally, but he's willing to just jump on random shit, which is always a
True.
risk. Like, it's one of these things where yeah, like Pantoja's a better grappler than him, like positionally and all that, but you never know if Moreno just jumps something, just Moreno just goes for the finish. And
His
like,
wrestling is not bad either. Like I respect his like opportunistic grappling enough to where I'm only going a unit here, you know. Um,
yeah,
I don't think Moreno's completely fucked here. I just
yeah,
think that Kai Kara France should probably be like minus, 200. Um,
Yeah.
like
I
like
got
I
minus
put him
110.
6 out of 7 out of 10. Like that's what I would say.
I got a bunch of minus 110 close to the opener. Kind of undecided whether I'll have it or not. Let's see how the price goes.
Yeah, I think I got minus 120 to 30, 130.
Yeah,
Whatever the price was on November 19th or whatever that day was.
good times.
It's a while ago. Yeah.
All right, on to a strange binary nothing fight. Chase Hooper versus Daniel Teymur.
I haven't taped Hooper.
Uh,
Um,
Hooper is a
you can
jiu-jitsu
talk about
dude with fuck all takedowns. He's like five. He's about 10 years old. Um, and Daniel Teymur is Daniel Teymur. Oh, sorry, Daniel Teymur. I never remember which one's which.
Yeah, this is
And so
Taylor.
it's just kind of it's jiu-jitsu. It's effective jiu-jitsu, but ineffective wrestling against a massive striking and wrestling against a massive striking advantage. I think Tamer's probably the side, but meme shit. It's pretty binary.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a fight that I'll even have action on. So yeah.
Yeah, this would classically be something I go for, but
Yeah, this sounds like it's a shit show, which you're like the best in the game at shit shows, I feel. So
yeah,
this should be right up your alley, I feel.
I don't know. It's just I've got good dog line on either side, and it's just he's young enough, and Tamer's kind of dumb.
Yeah, I feel like if Tamer didn't gas and make like really bad decisions, he would actually be he could actually be decent, I feel, But he just gets tired and he just I don't know, kind of does dumb shit.
Yeah, I mean I'll say in all that. Like in hindsight, his losses aren't as bad. Fishgold Joe, I had the real exception to. Like I'll say he's a good fighter.
Yeah, Arcee's legit for sure.
Yeah, like I'll say would be champion of several higher weight classes. If you were to
Seriously,
put
yeah.
Arce as what?
No, I agree. Yeah, yeah.
I always feel bad about like low level bantamweights and like featherweights. Or just like if you were just born at heavyweight, you would currently be champion, or at
Yeah,
least you'll be a millionaire. But instead,
like
you're just anonymous, unranked featherweight.
yeah, he's making like 20 grand to show, 20 grand to win, and is like on the verge of getting cut if you just get a few like tough matchups. Like look at Ricky Simone, like Ricky Simone and Rob Font. If you just look at like the skills in that fight and compare it to like Stipe Cormier, it's like yeah, like I don't think Stipe and Cormier have like much better skills than those two.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky Simone was capable of recognizing and defending a body shot.
Yeah.
Like I think that Cormier versus Stipe too has to be one of just the stupidest moments in UFC history, where just Cormier was just monumentally shocked by the fact that Stipe would have the audacity to go for the body.
Yeah, I played Cormier there because of just kinda like the volume edge and
Yeah,
like, dude, I don't know if you're a DraftKings person, but Cormier landed 200 significant strikes in that fight, so I think he scored above Stipe, but,
yeah,
it reminded me of just, like, when you're playing, like, Street Fighter or, like, Mortal Kombat
yeah.
and
It's
you find,
mine's
like,
one button you can spam.
yeah, yeah, it's like you find a glitch in the game that the boss can't stop, that you like the video game boss can't stop, and you just keep going to it. I think you and I talked about that before. That's pretty much what it reminded me of. I was like, "What?" And Cormier just kinda stared at him. That was his response. Like,
He was
it
like, "You
was
have the audacity to hit me in the body. I have no counters. I have never come across this before."
yeah, dude. I remember watching that. I was having that. That was one of my like better nights because I think I had Sandhagen and like I think I hit like three other fights. I was in a good mood, or else I would have been pissed. But I was just laughing. Like I was like, what? Just and like right when he landed the first two, I was like, fuck, please don't go back to that. And then he just did and finished them, and I was just laughing. I was like, are you serious right now? Like, what the fuck was that?
I just love Yojic's face where he realizes he could do it. Like he realizes it's a viable option. And then he's like, "I'll try this again just to see if it wasn't a fluke."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, that worked again. I'm gonna try it another 8 times."
My buddy and I were talking about that fight too, and like how MMA would it be if you now sided with Stipe because he has like a clear like go-to, and then Stipe just didn't go back to the body. Just like that'd be the most like it'd be the most MMA thing ever. You're like, oh, Stipe has like pretty much a guarantee way to win if he just goes to the body, and then he just stands there and goes head strikes and gets like outvolumed and finished. Oh god. I
Yep,
know that was
like
off topic, but I was laughing. That was such a funny moment. It was so hilarious. But back to Teymur and Hooper, I think like I don't have
um,
anything to say about it.
uh, yeah, like, I don't know, it's a low-level fight, binary shit show. Probably a
Yeah.
decent light betting opportunity. I feel
Yeah.
like, yeah, it should be pretty clear who's gonna win pretty quickly.
Yeah.
What's the RTD paying? RTD is paying minus 190 for the, RTD is not bad, it's essentially binary,
Yeah, 'cause
but
I know I haven't taped, so I can't really say anything about it, but,
yeah. Saunders,
Brown
Brown?
and yeah, Brown and Saunders. I mean, Brown should probably kill him, right?
I'll probably put a tiny spot on, like, Saunders KO at, like, 6 or something just because Saunders does go to the body well, and
Yep.
Brown has a
Yeah.
massive glaring weakness,
Yeah.
but otherwise, yeah, Brown should kill him.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I do think just because Brown's got such a massive weakness to the body, Daniel Cormier, that, Saunders could just come out and spam the, body shots and make him more even. Like, Saunders definitely isn't. Saunders is kind of fucked, but he's had decent moments against competition lately. It's just he just gets hit semi-hard and he dies.
He just has no durability. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Like,
it's funny, I was thinking the same thing, like, he does go to the body, and Brown he's been hurt there so many times throughout his career,
yeah, he just has a weak it's him and Soriano just some guys just sort of weak bodies.
yeah.
And if pretty much Saunders just came out, body needs Brown twice and got knocked out, I would not be massively shocked.
Yeah, um, I
Like,
think
just
Brown throws enough, like, he has a high enough, like, pace to where I'm sure Saunders can't take enough of that, you know? So, like, I
yeah,
feel like Saunders just kinda has to put him away to the body or else Saunders is gonna get hurt, can like, often and probably go out,
yeah, definitely.
so
I'm just like, I wouldn't play Brown at this sort of price because I feel like there is a glaring weak point there.
yeah, I think the line's honestly probably, like, near right, like, I would put him in, like, the 7 to 8 out of 10. I think that's fine, you know?
Yeah. Again, I'm just kind of yeah. I'm curious what ends by KO is going to be. What's RTD? Last 400. Yeah, fuck that.
It'll probably be ends by
Yeah.
KO will probably be, like, minus 300 or something.
If Saunders
Um,
KO ends up being like plus 500, I'll probably take a tiny swing and pop with it because I just feel like it's an option.
yeah.
Um, Heinisch versus Akhmedov. I actually kind of did have a decent look into this today. I just feel like Heinisch kind of lacks things he's good at.
Yeah.
He just kind of hustles forward. Well, like hustle's good. Hustle can win you fights in the UFC, no doubt. But like Akhmedov does have the better striking, um, and can sort of if it ends up being a striking fight, I think Akhmedov kind of cruises it just because he'll land harder and he'll land harder and more frequently and more frequently. And even in the wrestling, even if it goes to grappling, I've kind of like Akhmedov's more willing to just sort of have a top position and hold it than like Faber or ACJ were.
Yeah, I think this fight's gonna be close, personally.
Yeah, yeah, I
So,
think it's
like,
quite the stuff. Yes, decision either
I
way.
I think it's gonna be, like, a split decision type of thing. They're both,
Yeah,
like they both don't throw a ton of strikes, they both can kind of wrestle. I think Akhmedov is probably, like, maybe a little I think he might be marginally better, but I do Heinisch hustles, but I totally agree with you on Heinisch's skill set. Like, he's not, like, great, He's just kind of competent and hustles. That's really his. That's kind of how I would describe him. I think this is going to probably just be a pretty close fight. That's really all I think about it. Um, like no lean on who's going to win, but I mean, I guess I would prefer the underdog at that point, right?
I'd lean Akhmedov, but not by a massive margin.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's a bit more functional. And yeah, also Akhmedov, I'm shocked to find out he's 32.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's 32 years old. Like, does he look 32 years old to you?
No, he looks like he's like 39 or 40 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he looks like Latifi. It's amazing.
It's like, yeah, he's like in that Tim Bosch and all that like field. I expected that he'd be way older.
Yeah, exactly. Against that Covington Tim Bosch, he was like he was essentially the same person as them, so you assumed he'd be about the same vintage. Apparently not.
Yeah.
That was the main thing I
Aldana.
learned during my deep analysis.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, like I just don't have much to say about that fight. But Aldana and Ketlin, this is tricky. Because it's like Aldana has the volume edge and probably the striking edge, and Ketlin. I might need to take this a little more. Ketlin has the grappling edge, but it's like Aldana has really good takedown defense, but when she's like when she was on her back versus Pennington, that was pretty concerning, in round 3.
Yeah,
So it's like and she kinda went for a leg lock, and so it just kind of makes me think if she gets put on her back here, she might not be for the round. So that's
yeah,
just very concerning, but I still think she has a path to victory because she has good takedown defense, and she's, the busier striker.
yeah.
So like I don't know, like this is always tough because whenever I see I have a lot of people tell me like, "Oh, why don't you play what you think might be the value side here?" It's like, yeah, like I don't really know who should be favored in these instances. Like, you know what I mean? Like Ketlin very well may look like minus 200. I just don't have a very good read because I just don't know how often someone gets their win condition going. Kind of like Sales and Mitchell over the
Yeah,
weekend. Like I didn't I didn't know. Like each guy had a path to victory, and I wasn't really sure. Like
yeah.
who would do it more, right?
Yeah, in MMA, there's going to be a lot of fights which are 50-50 pre-fight, which in hindsight would be minus 500. Because really the question pre-fight is two or three like small dynamic questions, and once they're answered, the result's very obvious.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, some of those fights are like that. Like I had a little bit of Bryce Mitchell, but I wasn't expecting him to do that. Like if I
yeah,
expected him to annihilate him, like if I was expecting dominance like that, I'd have put
yeah.
5 units on Bryce Mitchell.
Exactly. Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
have taken the half units to happen.
I would have like
Anybody
taken
being
out money
like,
from a bank to get more money. You know?
yeah,
Like, but I yeah, like I didn't play that fight. I kind of leaned Sales, but like would have never
yeah,
played it. And it's just yeah, sometimes that kind of reminds me of like some of these fights like that. Even like Font Simone, I was like, yeah, like they both kind of have some win conditions. I don't really know. Um and so like whenever I don't even know who should really be the favorite, I tend to feel like I'm playing blind a little bit, and that's why I pass. But
yeah.
other people have the viewpoint of like, if you don't know, you think it's even. It's like, no, I don't think it's even. So that means play the dog. I more so just don't really know. So I have no idea who to play. But yeah.
Personally, I think it's even. I just play the dog, so fair enough. You're
Yeah.
okay with this?
Yeah. I mean, that's like, I don't think that's a bad philosophy either, to just
Look, playing dogs between plus 110 and plus 150 is like actually like 5%
profit.
ROI for the
Yeah.
last 5 years.
Yeah.
Just blind. The way
For
I
sure.
see it, eliminate like 10% of the absurd small dogs.
Yeah.
You finish locked in like 10%.
Yeah, no, 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 like, I feel you. I just, yeah, like, I don't really know. I'm gonna tape maybe some of the takedowns of what Ketlin does, but, like,
Yeah.
probably just competitive fight, and it just depends who can implement their game on who. But Jeff Neal
Also,
Oh, go on.
Oh, just like Ketlin's layoff too also just kind of raises a bunch of questions of what exactly she looks like and how she acts, what she does. Probably get a fairly good live bet. I
Yeah,
suppose one of those ones where like a minute or two in, you can get a good feel for the dynamic. And if nobody's winning the takedown, the books won't have updated too quickly.
yeah. But Neal and Perry, this should be a fun fight.
Yeah,
Also
should be fun.
no action here, but it's kind of like Perry Perry tends to
Have close
do a
fights.
little bit better than what people think in fights like this, where because he's
Yeah,
got some very good durability, but he did kind of get hurt. He can be hurt though, Perry.
yeah,
So and Neal's got good straight punching, and I don't know, Perry versus Max Griffin got hurt with some like quicker straight punches. So I know you don't like. I don't think you like Neal as much as some other people. I tend to think he's pretty good. But I don't think he is like incredible, but I think he's solid and he's good at what he does.
yeah. He's got a very sort of keep it simple, stupid game style, I guess. Like I
Yeah,
like what I can see what he's trying to do, but I feel like there's lack of depth to his game.
yeah,
But against Mike Perry, that could be enough. I personally would I'd probably lean playing Mike Perry just 'cause I feel like there's a good chance this breaks down into a mess. And
yeah.
Mike
It
Perry's
could
good
be.
at breaking people down to messes.
Yeah, yeah,
Because like Nico Price broke Jeff Neal down to a mess too. But yeah, no strong lane. What the props are like? GTD at plus 140 is not terrible.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
Just 'cause
Perry's
Perry's
very
so
tough.
tough. Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, pretty much no strong lane at this point.
yeah.
Petty Yan versus Uriah Faber. Faber by first round knockout. We all know that. Next fight.
Yeah. I don't think we had to spend much time on this. It's like Jan should annihilate him unless if something weird happens, which it's MMA. Shit can happen.
Yeah. Um, maybe. Yeah. No value on the props. The props are just like yeah. I think Uriah Faber was getting hurt by Ricky Simone early, but then Ricky Simone actually does hit fairly hard, in my opinion. He's not a very
Yeah.
technical striker, but he does swing.
Yeah, he can stun you for sure.
Yeah. So like, so Ricky Simone stunning him isn't necessarily a massive red flag.
Yeah. It was like twice though. Like just in like 8
Yeah.
seconds. But uh like Jan also has a volume edge here, but it's yeah, like Jan should win. Like he should be a pretty big favorite, but favor it's still MMA. But
Yeah.
Moraes, Aldo,
Oh
um,
god.
there's a
Mess.
low, yeah, low volume kickboxing fight. Both guys aren't like incredibly high volume, so I could see anyone taking a round, just like who happens to land the harder leg kick, at the right time or something.
Yeah.
But I feel like you kind of like I feel like Moraes is probably he's younger, he's probably a little more crisp, and Aldo's like may kill himself trying to make 135, so I'm fine with Moraes being the favorite. It's pretty much the way I see this fight.
Yeah, pretty much. Like Aldo, you never know how bad the weight cut's going to be. And he just doesn't do much these days. But
Yeah.
yeah, Moraes obviously broke both our hearts against Kudo when he just randomly collapsed. Still wanted just a bizarre fight.
Yeah,
Like,
I've kind of like it was just definitely kind of weird just because I feel like Moraes kind of just gassed really heavy, but it was just kind of meh, whatever. Um, but yeah, he definitely broke my heart a little bit there. But yeah, this fight, I'm fine with Moraes. Like, God, Aldo at 135 is just gonna look so weird.
yeah, it's just not seeming like a good recipe for anything.
Yeah, hopefully he. I mean, he doesn't get like he still has a very good
Yeah,
chin, so hopefully he's okay.
yeah,
Um,
agreed.
Nunes GDR.
I like GDR quite a bit here. I just feel like if Nunes doesn't kind of blitz around one, I think Nunes will probably step off the volume a fair bit, and if that's the case, I think Randomly can definitely win a deep kickboxing decision. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I think Randomly
Yeah.
carries power better and has a more sort of busier and more nuanced striking game.
I think I actually think I'm like fine with the line simply because I think that the striking will probably be competitive, but
Yeah,
as far as the busyness, like I'd have to look into it a little more, but I don't think there's like really an edge for GDR there as far as busyness. But I think it's like semi close. But I think Amanda might be a little busier. But also like Amanda's busyness depends on who she's fighting. Like against Valentina, she was a lot more low volume.
yeah.
Where in other fights she'll kind of throw a lot more calf kicks
Um,
and do more. But it
but
like
down the
Amanda
stretch, who's she
Amanda
really?
still averages 1.73 takedowns per 15 minutes. So like that's what bothers me for playing
Yeah,
GDR is if like GDR, that's fine that she has improved takedown defense and she's got good takedown defense, but if she gets put on the mat, she's probably in trouble, you know? And Amanda has kind of like that Cynthia Calvillo way of getting people down with like catching kicks. It's kind of unpredictable. And I imagine over a 25-minute fight that she'll probably get a takedown, right? Like just like statistically, I would say it's more likely than not she just ends up in top position at some point, whether it's a knockdown, whether it's a some weird type of scramble, whether it's an Aspen Ladd meme double leg or just like a caught
yeah,
kick. Yeah, like that's why I'm worried about GDR. I'm just throwing out like I know you
yeah,
like GDR in this. I'm just throwing out like what I think is a threat to her because
yeah.
I
Agreed.
just think statistically she's going to be put on her back, and that's why I'm fine with Nunes being like minus 250 to 300.
Yeah, the
But
way I see it, I'm just like I probably aim to put a unit on GDR pre-fight and probably add more after a round or so. I think Nunes just for cardio conservation reasons is just how Nunes operates. So
yeah,
takedown threat will kind of shrink over rounds. I
yeah,
think Randomy's
could
also
be.
got a solid first layer of takedown defense.
She does definitely. Um, like I see a world where GDR wins. Like
Yeah,
she can keep like a similar fight to Valentina, and just have a competitive kickboxing match. She can definitely win.
it would be great if Nunes came out hard like Cyborg did against Nunes, and Randomy just killed her. People just acted like it was such a meaningful result.
I'm upset GDR Cyborg never happened. I think GDR could
Yeah,
have beaten her. Like
I think Cyborg's more consistent takedown threat than Nunes.
probably.
Like I would have priced Cyborg a bigger favour against Randomy than with Nunes.
Well, imagine if just Cyborg did what she did to Nunez. If she did that to GDR, she probably would have gotten killed too.
Yeah.
That was still one of the strangest like strategies I've seen. How she just went out there just like no defense, winging hooks. Like, it was so weird.
Sometimes you just buy your own press. You just buy your own press releases. Yeah. Um, yeah. So that's that. I don't mind doing. I don't mind GDF for small stab. I'm not confident, but I feel like she'll make it interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of confident, Volkanovski is bad, and you should feel bad. And Holloway 4-fight decision is a stone cold lock.
Um.
In all seriousness, I feel like Holloway's got more tools to win rounds here and should be a bit busier, and I don't trust Volkanovski's striking defense, but I do feel like Volkanovski makes it interesting in the first round or two.
Yeah. I think the
And
line's
Price is
right.
about right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I think Volk can win this fight, and I think it's going to be competitive. But like I could see Holloway's range kind of being too much, and if Volk kind of can't get his cage pushing going, Holloway could land the more significant head strikes, and really take over. But I've one of my buddies who I really talk MMA with, like he's kind of he played Poirier over Holloway, and his theory was kind of a Holloway, if he can't gas you, isn't really nearly as good as people think. And if you really look at like the people he hasn't gassed, it's Stevens, Edgar, and Poirier, and all those fights were like, I mean, he won some, he lost some of those, but none of them were blowouts for Holloway. Or like some of the fights that he's just dominated, Pettis and Aldo a couple times, those guys gas and have like major volume issues, and Volk doesn't have volume issues, and he doesn't have cardio issues, and he also can land leg kicks and cage push to where I think Volk can compete. Like I'm not saying like Volk is amazing or anything. I just think the fact that cardio and volume matters, like to where like it's funny because I don't think his like skills are amazing, and I played him over Aldo, and it isn't because I think Volkanovski's like amazing. I just think those two things right there win a lot of fights, unfortunately, and you're starting to see it in the. I mean, look at the two men's fights. You have four of the most output guys in MMA, like, and they're all fighting for belts. It's Covington, Usman, Volkanovski, and Holloway, and it's just because they have a ton of output. And so that's kind of like what I think.
My immediate thing is you accuse Holloway of needing to gas people. Volkanovski has 2 major wins against the corpse of Joe Jose Aldo and the corpse of John Mendes.
Oh no, but I'm not
like
saying
Volkanovski hasn't even gassed anybody who can actually like fight.
True. Like I'm not
standing around against Elkins.
What I'm saying here, I'm not saying like Volkanovski's more skilled or anything like that. I'm just saying I don't like how I do think Holloway tends to beat people who he gasses, and Volkanovski just doesn't gas, to where I think it could be competitive. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Holloway just kind of beats the brakes off him with straight punches, either. Like, so I could be wrong here. Like, honestly, it's more like theoretical than me knowing that's going to happen, But almost everyone I know is playing Holloway, which is hilarious. Everyone, like everyone's playing Holloway. I feel.
I'm just going to the prop side of things. I'm going with the 4-5 decision. I feel like that's usually just my preferred way of approaching Holloway fights. The Aussie book opened GTD for this at like plus 150 ages ago, which I found amusing. But I feel like Holloway just pulls ahead of it, but I do think Volkanovski makes it interesting. I think there'll be some interesting line movement too, like live betting.
Yeah. I just think Volkanovski has like the ability to at least make some rounds close. That's kind of what I'm saying. I don't think he'll really dominate. Like I feel like if someone dominates a round, unless if like Volkanovski gets a knockdown or something, I think if anyone dominates a round, it will be Holloway. But I still think Volkanovski can keep some rounds close to where it makes it interesting for a plus 150 underdog. But yeah, that's kind of like all I have to say about that. And like anyone who's listening and they're confident in Holloway, don't let what I'm saying like make you scared. Just I don't know. You can just like take what I'm saying and use the information and make your own decision. But Usman and Covington.
I think we both think Usman folds Covington in half.
Yeah.
It's just Usman athleticism ridiculous. Covington kind of has to push through the cardio cliff, while Usman just goes nuts. Usman is unfair. I'm strong. I'm against Usman just because I feel like he just annoys me as a concept.
Yeah, but you're willing to make money off him.
I know, but like for most of the times I've made money off him by playing overs. I never really endorsed him.
You played him versus Woodley, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. But like usually it's either overs or like before that I just played overs. I think against Meyer I had a massive bet on the over 3 rounds or something.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, I've like done some videos. I think Usman's going to win, so I won't go too in depth. But there are a lot of people on Covington. Like, it's not, uh, I don't know, and it's just I could see a world like I could see him winning. I'm not saying it's like this is MMA. I get it. Um, it's just he has to kind of distance strike, and like something that I haven't really mentioned in other videos that I guess I want to bring up here is Covington's not really gone up against anyone who can kind of hit hard. And like a lot of his, since he's kind of adopted this very high volume distance striking game, a lot of it is leg kicks, first of all, and he doesn't land a ton of head strikes, and he gets hit a ton. Like Damian Maia landed 60 significant or 53 significant strikes on him in a 3-round fight. So Usman's gonna fucking land. And I feel like Covington, I don't know, he's gone against a lot of people who don't really hit, or like RDA, a heavy hitter, in my opinion. And like Lawler's just not very good. And Usman has hurt significant. Like, I mean, he knocked Moraes dead, and I know he has a lot of decisions, and people make fun of him, but he's grappling a lot, so he's not always just going for knockouts. One, but he hurt Woodley badly. He hurt Strickland badly. He hurt Warley Alves very bad. He hurt Leon Edwards' feet too. Like I think Usman will probably land some big shots here. You know, if Covington just charges forward. So. I don't know if you have anything to add.
Have you considered Usman is Division 2 wrestler?
Yeah. I do actually want to bring something up about that. Like I think Usman's going to out wrestle Covington personally. That's my opinion.
Impossible. Their college qualifications 9 years ago are the only relevant metric.
I got yelled at a lot saying Usman was going to out wrestle Woodley, but like
I remember that.
That one's different though. Like this one's harder to call because the thing with Usman and Woodley lands like 0.9 takedowns per 15. He doesn't use his wrestling because he can't, because he'll get tired, you know? Where Usman lands
Usman
like
doesn't get tired.
Usman doesn't get tired, and so he'll actually, like, if anyone's landing more takedowns, it would be Usman, just because he will wrestle. Or in this one, both guys wrestle, so you actually have to kind of pick who's more skilled, or like, you know, or like who's actually going to win it, because they're both willing to do it. I tend to think Usman will out wrestle him, but I do want to say one thing we haven't seen is Usman. He stops takedowns very well. You know, like he's got good hips. I've seen some of his just training footage, and he can scramble well. But if he actually gets put on his back, we don't. That's the only thing, is like I don't know, because that's a different form of wrestling, like getting up from your back. So that is a concern, because if Covington does get him down, maybe once Usman's actually got his base broken, maybe he has trouble getting up. But so that's like the only assumption you're trying to make, you know?
Have we seen?
Like I could see that being a threat, but I feel like he'll be okay.
I feel like I haven't seen much Covington like just top riding, like jiu-jitsu style.
Exactly.
Most of it's wrestling rides.
Yeah. That's what the other thing. Yep.
Yeah, and I feel like he's rarely sort of, he's more of a mat return guy than is really just to hold down static.
I think Usman has a better top control too. Like I didn't really dive into the wrestling too much, but if you watch his fights, like I don't know if you happen to be watching an Usman fight, anyone who's listening, he gets those clasped hands, and he never lets the lock break, and he'll use the clasped hands to get a variety of different mat returns. Like he'll use a trip, he'll just pick you up and slam you, he'll just hold you against the cage, use head position, and start kneeing you in the legs to score points. And he's really good at that. And if you watch the RDA fight versus Covington in round 4, RDA was like, he started getting takedowns when he started going for them, and he was holding up Covington with that lock against the cage, you know? So I think Usman will be able to out wrestle Covington. I'm not saying he'll hold him down for like 3 straight rounds, but I think he can get some control time for a minute and a half here and there, you know, and that could swing rounds as well. And yeah, I also think when you mix in everything, I think Usman has the better cardio. A lot of people don't think that. They think Colby does, but like when you add in the size and the strength, I think Covington's going to be exhausted. You know?
Yeah, it's just hard wrestling with a guy like that, so that much bigger than you.
Yeah, yeah,
Again, if he wasn't a Division Two wrestler, would be fine.
yeah, yeah. And I think I did. Did you and I talk about the like? I got yelled at a lot online for like saying Usman was going to out wrestle Woodley, and they would say
Yeah,
D1, D2, and it's a good general rule, but there's times where there's exceptions. And I did a video on the wrestling backgrounds of these guys, and Usman has beaten D1 national champions in pure
yeah,
wrestling matches. Like he can beat like he's D1 level. Like he's beaten the elite of D1. You know.
yeah.
Um, but like
But
I Covington, if he gets his distance striking going, because he attempts more distance strikes, I could see him winning. It's just I really think the athleticism and the power and the size and everything else is just going to kind of take over for Usman. But could be wrong. But I have like a few units on Usman.
yep, I just about agree with that sentiment entirely. Should be an entertaining fight, and yeah, good times. And also, it's light, so I'm essentially
Okay, yeah,
completely
I'll
spaced
let you
out
go
by this
then.
point.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right. See you, dude.
all good. We just
Bye.
pretty much towards the end thing. Shout out to all the good contributors to the Discord.
Yeah,
That's right,
for
there are none
sure.
of you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, man.